Hello! Come back over here. Come on. That was a big jump for you. My old baby. Start recording and my cats start doing things. I have not read very much this year. In fact, I've been in quite a big reading slump. So I've only read, hold on, let me get my Goodreads up. It's been a little rough. I've only read 24 books this year and it is July. I'm supposed to read 100, my goal is to read 100 this year and I don't think that's gonna happen. Honestly, I might bring it down to like 75 and that's still, I don't even think I'll reach 75. So I am 30 books behind schedule. I don't have a big selection to choose from because I've only read 24 books and I think there's like 14 questions. I'm gonna try to not like double dip or like use the same book for the same question, but it might happen. There are also some questions I might just not have an answer for, but I love doing tags. I think tags are fun. I think they're easy. When I first started reading and like getting really into booktube and stuff in like 2014, when I watched but did not participate, tags were constantly happening. Like there were constant tag videos. Like I felt like every month everybody was doing tag videos and I loved watching them. I think tags are so fun. I love doing them. I would love to do more of them. I wasn't even planning on doing the mid-year freakout tag. My YouTube feed has been flooded with mid-year freakout tags and it makes me feel like I'm left out. This is my mid-year freakout tag for 2025 so far. Kind of late July, sorry. But yeah, I wasn't planning on doing it. What is the best book you've read so far in 2025? Okay, so I have not read a 5-star book yet. All-time new favorites? Well, kind of. Well, honestly, I have read some favorites, but I think they're mostly like 4-star favorites. Oh no, my very first book, I'm gonna go with, because I'm trying not to reuse books here, I'm gonna go with Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. And I know that's kind of like a crazy pick for my favorite book of all time so far right now. Technically, the next book I'm talking about would be my favorite, but I'm trying not to double dip. Deep End by Ali Hazelwood is my favorite romance so far of 2025 for sure. It was fun, it was easy, it got me wanting to read again. I really loved it. It's probably my favorite Ali Hazelwood book I've read so far from her collection. Recently, to try to catch up on my reading goal, I've been reading a lot of Ali Hazelwood's novellas, like her short little romances, and they're a lot of fun too. She's just a fun author. Her books are silly and stupid and like just an overall fun time, and you just can't take them too seriously, and they're just a lot of fun, and I can't wait to read more of hers. And honestly, I plan to read a lot more of hers in July because they're just silly little romances, and July is the perfect time to read a silly little romance, you know? I think that would be one of my number ones, definitely my number one romance I've read so far. My number one book, very first book I read this year, it was one of my very anticipated for this year, and I did not think it was going to be the first book read because it's not even out yet. It doesn't come out till August. When does it come out? July. Oh, it comes out this month. So it comes out July 29th, so it's almost out for you all to read. And I was beyond shooketh when I got the email saying, hey, do you want an advanced reader's copy of this book? And I absolutely said yes, and it was... Are you feisty right now? God, it's taking me forever to answer the first question. Okay. A Theory of Dreaming by Ava Reid, which is the second book in A Study of Drowning. A Study in Drowning was one of my favorite books of last year, and I was really excited. This was my anticipated read of this year. I couldn't wait to read it, and then it was the first read of this year, and I gave it 5 stars. It was a great way to start the reading year off. This series and world that Ava Reid has made, I adore. It's very dark academia. There is mythology. There is like this very... it has that dark academic feeling that I love, and it has romance. I have a really hard time recently with YA books that I really like, that I don't find repetitive from other YA books. I loved A Study in Drowning when I read it. I fell in love with it. It had that feeling that I just loved, and like the vibe and the atmosphere and the whole thing. It was just my book. Like that's the book I needed and loved. And then I was so excited for the second book, and I did love the second book. I probably liked the first one more still. And she just announced, I think, a novella that she's doing as well for these characters, and I'm obsessed with these characters. I love them. I feel for them. My heart aches for them. There are trigger warnings that, because this was an arc, nobody was talking about the trigger warnings in this book. They were rough to read, but I just want to let you know that this does deal with some mental health issues, and there are trigger warnings in this book, so I advise people to look into that before reading it. But I just love this series, and I can't wait for you all to read it as well. What has been your favorite sequel of the first half of this year? And that's kind of why I was trying to save Ethereal Dreaming, because it would be my favorite sequel. I'm gonna have to say The Ragpicker King by Cassandra Clare. So I read Swordcatcher earlier this year too. It was a 4, or it was maybe a 3. I can't remember, but I think Swordcatcher I liked, but I wasn't in love with. I was only really reading the second book because I went to the signing for the second book. I don't know if I would have picked it up otherwise. And the second book really made me fall in love with the story. The end, oh my goodness, the last 20% of this book is a wild time. I don't know, I loved this book. This isn't the type of, like, high fantasy like this isn't my typical. I love fantasy, but I love a romantasy more. Like, it has to have a romance in it, and these books are definitely more plot focused than romance focused. The second one does have more romance in it, and I think that's why I love the second one a lot more than the first. But I would have to say this one, the characters, the plot, the world, I just fell more in love with it in the second book than the first. And I'm so thankful that I actually decided to continue on with this, because I will be reading this series now as it comes out, and I can't wait for the third book. Is there a new release that you haven't read yet, but you're really excited to? Yes, a couple. I've talked about some of these recently because they were in my book haul, but I have a couple fairy loots I'm very excited for. The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. This was a fairy loot. It is beautiful, but it has that kind of Regency 1800s England competition kind of plot that I'm really excited to read. Another one came out recently, I don't remember when, in February, Wings of Starlight, the Tinkerbell, like, Disney book, romance book, but like, I really want to read this one, and I can't believe I haven't actually read it yet. I freaking love the Tinkerbell movies. I can't believe I don't even own this book yet. It's definitely on there. It's gonna be read soon, I believe. I want to get it in August, I think. I'm trying to be more, I'm trying to plan out my TBRs more. I don't know if it's gonna work very well, but we'll see. Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. I've tried reading this one, and I just kind of fell into a slump right before it, so I couldn't get into it. Though I really am excited to get back into it. A Fable for the End of the World. I actually got an arc for this one and never ended up reading it. I just ran out of time. It has a beautiful cover too. I just need to own this book. But I believe it's dystopian, and I haven't read a dystopian novel in a long time. I feel like that was a good selection, yeah? What is your most anticipated release for the second half of this year? When I've done this in the past, it's always been a Carrie Maniscalco release. But we are not getting a Carrie Maniscalco release this year, and yes, I am upset about it, okay? Take all the time you need for that sloth book, okay? It's fine. I'm just a little upset. I have to say, this one, Rootbound, a Tangled novel by Margaret Owen. I'm obsessed with Tangled. I added this as soon as I saw the cover. This is one of those Disney books that's another Rapunzel, like, retelling, or after the story ends, by part of the Disney, like, book bit thing. I freaking love Tangled. The sequel to Quicksilver, I just read Quicksilver. I actually liked it. It was one of my high 4-star books of this year, so I've been really excited for the sequel. I think it comes out later this year. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, I feel like this is gonna be a bad reading year for me, and I don't want to put that energy out in the world, but also it's just kind of how it has been. I haven't really been looking forward to reading a lot of books. There's not a lot of books coming out that I'm really excited for, so I just kind of taking it day by day, you know, and that's okay. If I'm gonna lower my reading goal. I'm gonna do it. What is my biggest disappointment so far? I feel like I've read a lot of mediocre books so far this year. I don't know if I was disappointed going into these because I didn't really expect much. Like, I guess I could say Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. I read it for my family book club, and I read it very last minute, so a lot of people had already read it before me, and a lot of them were saying how good it was and how great, and I gave it, I think, only 3 stars, so it was mid, but like it wasn't horrible. I don't know if that would be like my biggest disappointment of the year though. I just hated the main character in it. I guess we could talk about Karina Hall because I read Blood Orange by her and I loved the first book in this series. It's crazy, it's wild lookup triggers, it's really dark. I was shocked by this first book. How it ends is crazy. I did not expect the ending to be the way it was, and so I was very excited to read the second book, and the second book, I bet, what was disappointing? Yeah, let's go with that one. Black Rose by Karina Hall. The second book in the series, it didn't match the first one. My biggest surprise so far this year? I'm not surprised by any of these books. Well, I am surprised that I read one of these books. That's the last book I read. Let's talk about this, I guess. Not surprised at the book itself, but more the fact that I read this book. And I blame my brother. He has been talking about this book, and he dared me to read it. So I said bet, and I read it, and that was Morning Glory Milking Farm. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm just surprised that I read it. And I'm more surprised I'm probably gonna read the sequel. That could be the biggest surprise. Sure, there isn't any books that I wasn't expecting and liking and loved, or that I expected to love and didn't like. Like, there's just been none of that. So I'm just overall surprised that I read this book, and even more surprised that I might read the second and the third one too. Just because they're silly, goofy, and short and easy to read, and a little shocking to read. Absolutely. Books that made you cry. Oh no, A Theory in frickin', are we just gonna keep going back to the first book I read this year? I think we are. A Theory of Dreaming made me cry. Other than that, I don't believe I have any that did. A book that made you happy. We can talk about a book that made me happy, sure. Can we talk about Watch Me by Tahira Mafi? Let's talk about Watch Me by Tahira Mafi, okay? Tahira Mafi is one of my favorite authors. I love being in the Shatter Me world. Just being in the world makes me happy, and being in the world with new characters this time, and characters that we've learned and like know and love now aged up 10 years. I'm like, sign me up. I was having a blast listening to this book. I freaking love James. He is such a different main character from her previous main characters. He is sarcastic and funny, and I just adore him. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I adore Warner too. He's one of my favorite book boyfriends in the universe, but I was just having a silly goofy time reading this book, and they're short and they're easy to read, and it's in a world I really love, and are they the best books in the world? No, but I love them. So another one I can just kind of throw in there of a book that just made me happy would have to be Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. Baldree. This is the sequel / prequel to Legends and Lattes. I freaking love Legends and Lattes. It was one of my favorite books, I believe, of 24 or 23 when I read it. It's cozy fantasy D&D vibes, and it's just so cozy. This one has to do with books. Like, before she opens her coffee shop, she's like reading all these like smutty books. She gets like a whole town into reading smutty books, and it's just a silly, goofy, like cozy fantasy vibe, and it's just great. What books do I want to read by the end of the year? I'm hoping to read all 12 of the Fruit Baskets. I just recently finished my collection on them. I want to get them. I want to read more Ava Reid. I want to finish Macbeth, and I honestly am going to be reading more Allie Hazelwood in this next month too, because it's summer and I just need silly, goofy romance book vibes. I also got sent the ARC for an Emily Henry book, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I've never once read an Emily Henry, but this book was sent to me, and I kind of want to try one out. I know a lot of people really like this author, so that is a book I am wanting to try. Okay, my camera overheated, so I had to take a little break and find the right list because I was going off the wrong list for this book tag. So sorry, wrong order, but here we go. So a new favorite author. I don't have a new favorite author. Like, I keep talking about Ava Reid. Karina Hall maybe might be up there now because I want to read a lot more of her books. Like, I just don't. I don't have an author who has wowed me yet this year, and I really could use some. So if you have recommendations, please let me know down below. I obviously have been in a reading slump for most of this year. Newest fictional companion, like, I don't really have a good fictional crush for you anymore. Like, not even like the main guy in Quicksilver. He was fine, but he was like every other book boyfriend. So like, his name was Kingfisher. He's okay, but he's not like a new favorite crush of mine. I don't know. I'm slacking this year. Can you tell? I'm gonna leave it at that. I mean, there's some Allie Hazelwood characters who could be fictional crushes, but they didn't like hit my heartstrings like previous fictional crushes have. Newest favorite character, I can definitely answer though. Come here, you. Talk about this girly pop, Antonetta, because I really, really love her character, and her character in Swordcatcher I really adored, but in Ragpicker King I loved even more. She's badass and fierce, but she is also very feminine and pretty, and like, she acts like how men expect her to act, but she is so smart and clever and like really is this badass girl. Like, we have our lanes and our favorites. A new adult female fantasy heroine is always like pretty and like sassy and clever, fights the norms and stuff like that. She is that, but in a different way, and I really love this character. I love her. I feel for her. She is just, she's one of my new all-time favorite characters, and I can't wait to see what else she does in the third book. The second book had a lot more to do with her, but I think the third book's even gonna have more of her in it, and I'm so excited to see where her character goes and her character development and how she like changes and acts, and it's just, I really, really loved her. Favorite book to movie adaptation this year? I haven't seen a single one, unless you count How to Train Your Dragon live action, because How to Train Your Dragon is technically a book. Favorite review you left this year? Have I left a single review this year? I don't believe so. Better than expected but still meh was one of my reviews, and that about sums up all of my reviews this year. The most beautiful book you bought this year. Okay, let's talk about some fairy loots, because this is the most stunning book I've ever seen. This is Cruel is the Light by Sophie Clark. This is the fairy loot edition, but even the normal edition is stunning. There's our ballroom scene, and I'm gonna open up this because look at this. Look at this. Rose Bargain could also fall under the most beautiful book I have bought this year as well. I mean, this one is also just stunning. I mean, any fairy loot's gonna take it. Watch Me by Tara Mafi. I think this is my favorite Shattered Me cover. I think it is so freaking pretty. Like, come on, you know? And my camera's about to die, so I'm gonna say bye. Thanks for watching. I know this is tags are easy and stupid and fun and really quick, and I feel like I don't actually say much in these videos, but thanks for watching. If you stuck around, let me know your favorites. If you want to answer these questions down below, please do. I adore your face. Thank you for watching and sticking around, and I will see you next time. I'm not going to go into detail about a lot of these probably. We're going to keep this quick and fast, okay? Like I like it. Nope. No, nope.